And now please welcome Cheri Smith, founder, Indigenous Energy Initiative, and Hina Baloch, Executive Director of Sustainability and Environment, General Motors.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Cheri.
Hey, Hina. It's so good to be here with you. I'm Cheri Smith. Gwe nin teluisi gisigawik dapakt. My name is Cheri Smith. I am a descendant through both of my parents of the Mi'kmaq Nation of present-day Northern Maine and the Canadian Maritimes. I'm a proud Solver Team Lead and Indigenous Communities Fellow, and I'm honored to be sitting here with my friend and colleague, Hina Baloch from GM. She's Executive Director of Sustainability Strategy and Communications for GM. And we are just honored to have her here, and I would love to learn a little bit more, and if you'd share with our audience about your partnership with Solve at MIT. And I have to mention that we were honored to receive the GM Prize in September, and would love to know, would love to know what it was about IEI that sparked the GM's desire to invest in us in that way. So please tell us about your work.
So General Motors has been a partner with the Solve platform for the last 5 years, and we've invested in different types of challenges, have done different types of work. What's really struck me about Solve as a platform is that while it is set in a Western institution of higher education, which is a power construct, how many of you agree? It has done a very good job of bringing everybody together and sort of decolonizing, de-westernizing, and democratizing innovation. So I think that element of Solve, bringing solvers from all over the world, has been very, very powerful for us. What's been very brilliant about the work, and when I was looking at the pitch, Cheri, last year, when we were working through the challenges, has been the comprehensive approach that your organization is taking. It is not just about a one-stop solution or a quick fix. You're looking at advocacy, you're looking at financing, you're looking at workforce, you're looking at convening. And one thing that I would want to get into a little bit with you later on is the energy sovereignty part of things that you're working towards. So I think in an era where there's a lot of focus on this, there is finally some funding also coming in through IRA into this work. This sort of a comprehensive approach is really needed. So I would say that really stood out for me about the work that the Indigenous Energy Initiative is doing. I'll throw a question back at you, Cheri, here. So I think the word sovereignty is very interesting for me. I always wonder what's the difference between sovereignty and independence, but we will not go into the linguistics of things. I do want to understand that from a sovereignty perspective, from the energy sovereignty perspective, I understand working in the transportation sector, that there is an element of energy storage, there is an element of energy resilience, there is an element of grid decarbonization, there is an element of power intermittency that all comes with the EV sector or the transportation sector transitioning to EV. How does it connect to energy sovereignty for the Indigenous communities?
Ooh, good question. So we were founded on a premise, which is in order to be sovereign, to be completely self-governed and independent, that tribes can't be sovereign if they're dependent on outside sources for their energy. Mm-hmm. And so we were founded to support the self-determination, the self-determined efforts of tribes to revamp their energy systems and build and construct and maintain them themselves. We have to include EVs as a part of that mix. Mm-hmm. Last year, the Biden administration created the National National Electric EV Initiative, mm-hmm. and our partner organization, Native Son Community Power Development in Minnesota, received a $7 million grant to construct an EV, the first ever intertribal EV charging network that is stretching, it's connecting reservations. It's to make sure that all the 28 tribes in North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota are connected with charging infrastructure. And we fully believe that electrifying the transportation sector is essential for all communities, but it can have extreme socioeconomic positive impacts in tribal communities for all the reasons that you said. And rather than, with this being the fourth industrial revolution, the last time we built out an electric grid, it deliberately skipped over tribal country. And this time we want to make sure that we not only have a seat at the table, but we build the tables and invite everybody to them.
Yes. No, absolutely. And it completely aligns with GM's approach towards everybody in as well, right? Bringing everybody in towards this EV transition.
Exactly. So can you tell us a little bit about what brought you to this work?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Cheri. I'm from Pakistan originally. I'm from Balochistan, which is a state or a province in Pakistan, and what I would be considered indigenous in that cultural context, and a local to the coastal line and to that area. And I would say my elders, my forefathers, my grandfather, they were all from a fishing community right next to the 760-kilometer Arabian Sea coastal line. And I grew up learning and understanding two big things. One, that you have to respect Mother Nature and it respects you back, and understanding the relational element between human nature and non-humans, and how all of that forms a planet that we're in. Humans are not the most superior creatures. We are a part of the larger system. So that understanding kind of came into me early on. And then also, much similar to the US and other parts of the world, indigenous communities suffer a lot of injustice that comes at the cost of economic growth that other communities are benefiting from. So that learning and that understanding in me was early on. And then that transitioned into my work in GM, where I focus on taking everybody in and bringing everybody into this green economy transition that we're looking at. So there is this personal element of who I am and where I'm from, and then how that transitions into my work in GM.
How lucky GM is to have you with that perspective. How lucky we all are that you're influencing the transportation sector and the next, epoch of it in that way. And we have a word for that in my ancestors' language. It's called netikulimk, which is all the complex concepts that you just described. Basically, we are one with the earth. We are not in charge of it. So
yes,
I'm just so glad you're here.
Yes.
Thank you all.